Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing here on this Monday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Good Morning with Reganelite here on Monday, the 5th of January, 2026, just at 11 o'clock here UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. Just for reference, if you're on Twitch, you can hit that follow button and hit that bell notification icon when I go live. If you're on YouTube, if you can, consider hitting that like, share, and subscribe, and also the bell notification icon when I go live on YouTube. Welcome, everyone. I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you all had a good weekend. I have a lot of housework to do this week. I need to get all the Christmas decorations down at some point this week as well. We've had kids over the weekend, while at the same time I was visiting. We had kids over at the same time. We all staying over for a couple of days. At the same time, I went on Saturday traveling up to my brother's because it was my little nephew's birthday, his birthday, and we were celebrating that. And then on Sunday yesterday, we had a wrestling show we had to go to because we're season ticket holders. We went to the first show of 2026, which we had a great time of as well. So we've had a lot of things happening. And then today here on Monday, I've been up early, just trying to get lots of things done. Luckily, I've managed to make time to have breakfast and brush my teeth. Not had time to have a shower, which I need to make do at some point today. But I've got so much to do. I also need to pop to the shops as soon as this show finishes as well. Just for reference, guys, we're going to be going an hour and maybe even an hour and a half long because there's a lot I want to cover today, guys. Because I do want to touch on Venezuela, which for some of you saw the... some of you may have seen my short video that I dropped on Saturday because I needed to kind of express my feelings about it. I've listened and read a lot about it, so I am going to dive into that. I'm also going to share some stuff with you guys regarding that as well. We are going to dive into that first before we go into the news after we do the quote and the weather, what we normally do here. Just for reference here. Someone also bought me coffee this morning. I don't know who, but they bought me 5 coffees this morning. So whoever did that, thank you so much. That is my first buy me a coffee this year. Thank you so much, whoever did that. I really appreciate it. As you guys know, I'm still currently demonetized. That is also on my list to do. I'm going to be really pushing that hard to try and get some answers this week. I don't know if I'll be able to chase it today, but I'll certainly have time tomorrow to chase it. But it's really helpful. You have no idea how much that really does help and keep me going, guys. The buy me a coffees, it really does. Obviously, can I also ask if you are a Patreon member as well? Do if you want to continue to support me, please make sure you have your auto renews on the membership. That way you can continue to support me during this period. I know people prefer the YouTube membership and whatnot, but I'm still currently demonetized. I don't know how long it's going to be, guys. I still can't get the money, so... But if you want to financially support me, one of the 2 ways to do so is buy me a coffee or Patreon. Both of those links are in the description, guys. You can't miss them. It says in the description where to support me there. If you can do that, is greatly appreciated. But obviously, I do know January is a difficult time for everyone, so any support whatsoever is really helpful. So for those who are new to this live stream, what we normally do on here, just let people know. We do the daily quota, we cover the weather, and then we look at whatever news is happening. It's good. Like I said, it's going to be a little bit different today because I want to dive into what's happened over the weekend with regarding Venezuela. I do want to really get into that because the problem is that normally I'd cover UK news tonight, so this is the only time I'm going to do so, which is why we're probably going to go maybe even an hour and a half long here today, guys, because I do want to touch on that. Before we get started, let me just say hello to those who are in the chat. Viper Scott, one of our moderators. Good morning to you, my friend. Thank you for your support. Good to see you there as always. Scott Hayes, good morning to you. I hope you are doing well as well. Stephen Banker, and one of our moderators as well. Good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. And Ellie, good to see you there as well, lurking in the chat. Dirtrees as well. Good to see you there. And anybody else lurking in the chats, anybody, feel free to say hello. We won't bite your heads off, I promise. And it doesn't appear to be anyone in the Twitch chat for the moment. And yes, Happy New Year to those. If I haven't said Happy New Year, I hope you all had a great Happy New Year. I really mean that. So let's get going, guys. Here is today's daily quota. Here it is. Here is today's one for the 5th of January by Dr. Jill Murray there. I don't know if that's not related to Andy Murray, is it? Probably a different one. And yeah, because that makes, it's definitely not related. The comeback is always stronger than the setback. That is today's daily quota. The comeback is always stronger than the setback. That is today's daily quota, guys. If you want, the comeback is always stronger than the setback. Indeed. Happy Christmas, I didn't see you before. No, or happy Christmas to those who I didn't see before as well. Yes, of course. And just a reminder, guys, as well, if you do buy me a coffee or Patreon, your name gets added to this list here because you guys have gone out of your way to support me while I'm currently demonetized. So anyone who does that, really, really appreciate it as well. Oh, thank you, Viper Scott. It was you. I wasn't sure if it was you, my friend. I don't want to make assumptions, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. New Year's a joke. Well, this new year, the way it started off, definitely has indeed. But we'll get into that in a moment, guys. Let's have a look at the weather forecast for the week lying ahead, guys. It's the weather report. Here it is, guys. Our big blue, beautiful planet. Here it is, guys. It's timed at 6 o'clock today, just for reference here. So on here, for those who are wondering what I'm using here, it is the bbc.co.uk/weather map. So if you guys want to use it yourself, this is what I'm using for reference here. Let's zoom in and see what some of the temperatures and winds are forecasting in places there. Of course, one of the coldest places on the planet, Yellowknife, negative 28 there. Vancouver 6, San Francisco 12, New York is a chilly 2 degrees there. Miami, a very nice toasty 26 degrees. Woo! Very nice for the people living in Miami. Mexico City 19 there. South America's temperatures 30, 23, 24, 23, 18 there in parts on the continent there. In parts of Africa we have Cape Town 21, Kikishka 29, Lagos 29, Dhaka 21. One Hook there 21 degrees. Addis Ababa, I forget if I've pronounced that right, 13 degrees there. Right at the bottom of India there, Colombo there, 26 there. Darwin 28, Perth 21, Sydney 21, Auckland 18 for Australia and New Zealand respectfully there. Philippines, the capital there, a very warm and toasty 25 degrees. Tokyo, a chilly 3 degrees. They've been having plenty of snowstorms. Again, they've got snow dropping over their mountains, as you can see there. If you can see, it's a bit, if you can see in the back there. And Beijing, a very cold -4 degrees there. Definitely getting their fair share of snowstorms up there. In the Middle East there, just zoom in a little bit here. New Delhi is 8 degrees apparently. Tehran, Baghdad 9 degrees. Kuwait City 13 there. Different parts of the Middle East there got some low temperatures there. Cairo 15 there, we can see there. And if we come to Europe, before we go to Europe, let's see what temperature is our friends in Iceland today. -2. Very cold for them. Murmansk, -21 there. Very, very cold indeed. Let me just come out. Make sure I get the right setting. Here we go. And let's have a look at Europe, guys. So, Madrid is 3 degrees. Portugal, Lisbon, 10 degrees there. Looks like they got some rain and some snowstorms, both in the south central of Spain and northern parts of Spain and Portugal there. They got some rain and snow there. Looks like it's going to be forecast there. Across the Mediterranean there, we have Nice at 9, Rome 12, Palermo 13, Tunis 16 there. Tiaria 14 there. Athens in Greece, still 17 degrees, not freezing cold, but still a lot colder than the normal temperatures would be there nonetheless. Istanbul there 13, parts of Turkey 12, 11, and Ankara 4 degrees. I hope I said that right. Indy Duck, good to see you there as well. Hope you are doing well. I've had this gift that I wanted to share with you that I got for Christmas, and I never had a chance to show you it. I haven't got it with me now, but it was basically like it's a duck brand of lotions and whatnot. It looks very nice. I haven't got it with me though. I wanted to share it with you just because you're the duck expert here. Good morning, person impersonator. I hope you are doing well. Good to see you there in the chat as well. Coming to Eastern Europe here, we can see very, very cold temperatures. We got this big snowstorm looking like coming over Czech Republic and Bosnia, Herzegovina, Slovenia, Hungary, that way there. You can see Zagreb -2, covered in snow there. Vienna -2. They'll definitely be feeling some of that, seeing that snow as well. Budapest 0 there. Chisco 0. Bern in the Swiss Alps there, very cold, -7 degrees as well. Kiev, where the unfortunate war is still continuing to 2026 there in Ukraine, -7 degrees. Prague, very cold, -5. Warsaw, -8. Berlin, -3. Very cold temperatures, of course, Eastern Europe. Moscow, -6. St. Petersburg, even colder at -13 there. And we can see Minsk, -6. Vilnius, -6. And Riga, -5 there. Looking a bit more further north there, Oslo there, a very cold, -8 degrees there as well. And then if we look at Brussels and Paris there, both -1 degrees. It looks like Paris is getting some snow dropping today from the looks of it. So the Eiffel Tower could be covered in a little bit of snow from the looks of it today there. Looking at the UK here in general, I was saying it on Friday, and I've been saying it on Friday, and you guys already know this. It's going to be cold. It's not going to change anytime soon, and we can see these temperatures there. It looks like it is dry. It looks like it is going to be dry today. Yeah, you're going to get some snow up in Scotland, but overall, most of the UK is staying dry. Some tiny bits of showers, but most of it is going to be dry. The main thing is the cold. It's just going to be cold. That's the main thing that we can see by these temperatures here. -2 in Edinburgh, -2 in Manchester, Cardiff -1, London 0, Dublin 1, Belfast 0 there. Very cold temperatures. Even if we go overnight into the next day there, we can see there looks like there's going to be some snow and rain forecast coming towards northern Scotland there. Looks like none of that's hitting other parts, but we can see overnight, if you go overnight onto into Tuesday here, we can see these temperatures. Big drop in temperatures here in down in the south of the UK here. You got London at -3, Cardiff -2, Manchester very cold -4, Dublin 1, Belfast 2, and Edinburgh -1 there. And we can see some of that snow looks like it's going to be dissipating over parts of Scotland, as well as some rain foreshadowing as well coming over there as well. Moving into tomorrow morning here, we can see again some of that snow may deteriorate. I'm trying to find the right word. May migrate. Let's use that word. Migrate from England from Scotland into England. Some of that snow may do that as well. And we can see those temperatures still remaining very, very cold there. Even moving into lunchtime, you can see those temperatures not really increasing that much at all. Still going to be very cold. A little bit warmer in parts of Scotland, Belfast and Dublin there. And though some of those scattered snows are still migrating a bit into parts of England there, but I don't expect it to settle too much there. Rain here, there's lots of rain dropping around parts of northern Scotland there, and the east side of the country there. But you can see London is staying very, very cold for Tuesday there. Moving into lunchtime here, again, that snow and rain is going to be around pretty much, looks like it's going to be around there all day Tuesday. Yeah, so probably be ready for that there, guys, all day Tuesday there. Good morning, Witchy Goth. Good to see you there. Hope you're doing well, guys. Make sure you check out Witchy Goth's YouTube channel as well. And myself and Witchy Goth will be coming together this Friday for a mental health live stream at 3 o'clock. Do join us for that if you can. It would be greatly appreciated. We'll be going from that into Friday Frolics with Daily Blase. So if you join us on Friday for that, it'd be greatly appreciated. User, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well there. Very chilly there. Yeah, very chilly indeed. Unquiet Badger, good morning to you as well. Hope you are doing well. And anybody else lurking in the chats. Well, it looks like on Tuesday, the temperatures do drop, increase a little bit on Tuesday afternoon there. So we can see 4, 5, 4, 6, 3. So some of those temperatures do increase a little bit, but then they come back down again. Not as bad. Yeah, looks like overnight. Yeah, so temperatures are not as bad Wednesday night as they are right now, and overnight they will be tonight. So we will get a slight increase in temperatures. So we will get a slight increase in temperatures here, but we can see some rain and snow. Looks like it's going to be coming over parts of Wales and England there overnight on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Some of that precipitative snow is still going to be there in Scotland there. As we move into overnight on Wednesday here, it looks like they're experiencing some... There's this big snowstorm that's building up that's going to be hitting parts of Europe there. But it looks like most of the UK is going to avoid that from the looks of it here. But if we go into, as we go into the next day on Wednesday here, temperatures still very low at 1, 2, 3 in some parts. Cardiff and 6 degrees a bit better. Edinburgh 9, Edinburgh 1, Belfast, Dublin 3 and 4, Manchester 3, London 4 here. moving a bit further on into Wednesday evening there, we can still see some of those temperatures are going to be dropping. It looks like there's going to be some rain and showers forecast there. Overnight, Wednesday night into Thursday morning, it looks like there's going to be this sort of snowstorm that's going to hit. Yeah, it looks like it's going to hit, definitely going to hit much of Scotland here from the looks of it overnight on Thursday. So Wednesday night into Thursday morning here, we got this snowstorm that looks like it's going to be coming down, guys. Parts of England and Wales is going to be experiencing that. I expect Northern Ireland will expect some of that as well. Thursday morning, that snowstorm is still going to be around as well. If we can see, just push that a bit further on. Yeah, so looks like next couple of days, guys, we're going to get some. There'll be parts where we get some wind, some rain, and some showers. Yeah, it looks like the wind's not too bad actually for Thursday there. We can see those gauges there. Although 6 miles, not too much there, but nevertheless, it's still going to be a little thing there. So I would say the main forecast is snow is expected, depending on where you're located. If you're located mainly in Scotland, you're going to get rain. You're going to get rain. You're going to get snow this week. You are going to be getting that today. I think you'll be able to get away with it today, but the rest of the week, from the next couple of days, you're going to be getting a lot of that. So take the usual precautions, as you already know. Check before you travel if you're traveling anywhere as well, and just make sure you wear the right footwear as well, because as soon as I went out a few days ago, I was wearing the wrong footwear, and because I saw the ice on the pavement, and immediately went back in, changed my footwear, and then went back out because it's you can really get really dangerous out there on the paths. Did I fix the monetization issue? No, Shinzi Talks. I still haven't. It's still on my. They've not been very helpful at all. But I am going to chase them this week. I'm going to chase them this week because I'll have a bit more time to give to it. But I have a lot of work to do today. So tomorrow I'll have a bit more free time to kind of speak to them and see where I can go with it, guys. But no, I have not fixed the issue, I'm afraid. But if you want to financially support me while I'm still demonetized, you can either buy me a coffee or join the Patreon. Links for both of them are in the description, guys. If you want to do that, that's one of the best ways you can keep me going during this difficult period. And yes, my birthday is coming up in a few weeks' time as well, which sucks as well. Would have been nice to have monetization while I'm before my birthday, but that's just not guaranteed, guys. So guys, let's talk about what happened. So why do we think that the United States of America invaded Venezuela? Well, there's a couple of things, guys. So I want to show you, I think this is one of the most fascinating. I've listened to so many different parts of it, and before I actually give my opinion, I want to share these two different tweets. So one in text and another one in video, and I think both of them are worth taking on board, and I generally want you guys' feedback on this as well. But this one is quite a powerful one. This is the first one. It's quite a lot to read, but I think it's really, really important. So the real reason the US is invading Venezuela goes back to a deal Henry Kissinger made with Saudi Arabia in 1974. I'm going to explain why this is actually about the survival of the US dollar itself. Not drugs, not terrorism, not democracy. This is about the petrodollar system that has kept America the dominant economic power for 50 years, and Venezuela just threatened to end it. So here's what really happened. So Venezuela has 303 billion barrels of proven oil reserves. Now, before we go any further, we all know that Venezuela has one of the largest oil reserves in the world. What we also know is that it is a fecking nightmare to refine. That is one of the biggest problems with that oil, is refining it. And we all know, and that's the big problem and the thing that has been pointed out time and time again about the oil there. The largest on earth, more than Saudi Arabia, 20% of the entire world's oil. But here's the part that matters. Venezuela was actively selling that oil in Chinese yen, not dollars. In 2018, Venezuela announced it would free itself from the dollar. They started accepting yen, euros, ruble, anything but dollars for oil. They were petitioning to join the BRICS. And the BRICS, as you guys know, is a very anti-American group. Because obviously they want to avoid using the dollar as much as possible. They were building direct payment channels with China that bypasses SWIFT entirely. You know what SWIFT is, right, guys? And he was sitting on enough oil to fund de-dollarization for decades. So why does this matter? Because the entire American financial system is built on one thing, the petrodollar. Absolutely. If people don't trade on the dollar, America is effed. We all know that they have a massive, massive debt. And that debt, they keep pushing that debt up every single time the government comes towards a shutdown, don't they? Every single time. In 1974, Henry Kissinger made a deal with Saudi Arabia. There's some footage of that. Some of you guys may have seen online if you look hard enough. All oil sold globally must be priced in US dollars. In exchange, America provides military protection. This single agreement created artificial demand for dollars worldwide. Every country on earth needs dollars to buy oil. This lets Americans print unlimited money while other countries work for it. It funds the military, the welfare state, the deficit spending. The petrodollar is more important to the US hegemony than the aircraft carriers, and there's a huge pattern of what happens to leaders who challenge it. So, first and foremost, Saddam Hussein in 2000 announced Iraq will sell oil in euros instead of dollars. 3 years later, it was invaded. Regime change, Iraq's oil immediately switched back from dollars. Saddam was lynched. WMDs were never found because they never existed. In 2009, Gaddafi proposed a gold-backed African currency called the gold dinar for oil trade. Hillary Clinton's own leaked emails confirmed that this was the primary reason for intervention. Email quote, "This goal was intended to establish a pan-African currency based on the Libyan gold dinar." In 2011, NATO bombs Libya. Gaddafi summoned and murdered. Libya now has open slave markets. We came, we saw, we died. Clinton laughed on camera. The gold dinar died with him. And now Morado. With 5 times more oil than Saddam and Gaddafi combined, actively selling in yuan, building payment systems outside dollars control, petitioned to join the BRICS, partnered with China, Russia and Iran. These, the 3 countries leading global de-dollarization. This isn't a coincidence. Challenge the petrodollar, get regime change every single time. Stephen Miller, that evil man, the US Homeland Security Advisor, literally said out loud 2 weeks ago, America's sweet, integral and toil created with the oil industry in Venezuela, its tyrannical exploitation was the largest recorded theft of American wealth and property. He's saying Venezuela's oil is America's wealth and property. He's not hiding it. They're claiming that Venezuelan oil belongs to America because US companies developed it 100 years ago. By this logic, every nationalized resource in history was theft. But here's the deeper problem. The petrodollar is already dying. Russia sells oil in rubles and yang since Ukraine. Saudi Arabia is openly discussing yang settlements. I generally wonder what would happen here if Saudi Arabia did this, because it would incur the wrath of America. That would incur the wrath of them, and Saudi Arabia would not like that. I don't think they would do that. I think it would be very dangerous. But the problem is that they don't have a military that protects themselves from the US. Like, how can you do regime change in Saudi Arabia exactly? What are you going to do? Murder the entire family, royal family? Like, what do you do there? Like, I'm not in favour of their regime in any way, shape or form, but Iran has been trading in non-dollar currency for years. China built CIPS, their own alternative to SWIFT, with 4,800 banks in 185 countries. BRICS is actively building payment systems that bypass the dollar entirely. This is very bad for America. The Enbridge project lets central banks settle trade instantly in local currencies. Venezuela joined BRICS with 303 barrels of oil that would accelerate this exponentially. This is what the invasion is really about. Not stopping drugs. Venezuela accounts for less than 1% of US cocaine. Not terrorism. There's zero evidence Morado now runs a terrorist organization. Not democracy. The US supports Saudi Arabia, which has 0 elections. It's about maintaining a 50-year-old agreement that lets America print money while the world works for it. And the consequences are terrifying. Russia, China, and Iran are already denouncing this as an armed aggression. Yeah, Russia media was going nuts about this. Russian media, state media, has been going nuts about this since it as well. China is Venezuela's biggest oil customer, and they're losing billions. BRICS nations are watching a country get invaded for trading outside the dollar. Every nation considering de-dollarization got the message. Changing the dollar and we will bomb you. Here's the problem. That message might accelerate de-dollarization and not stop it. Because now every country in the global south knows what happens if you threaten the dollar hemorrhage. And they're realizing the only protection is to move faster. The timing is insane too. January the 3rd, 2026, Venezuela invaded, Morado captured. January the 3rd, 1990, Panama invaded, Nogolia captured. 36 years apart, almost to the day. Same playbook, same drug trafficking excuse. Real reason, control strategic resources and trade route. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. What happens next? Trump's press conference at Mar-a-Lago sets a narrative. US oil companies are already lined up. Politico reported they have been approached about returning to Venezuela. The opposition will be installed. Oil will flow in dollars again. Venezuela will become another Iraq, another Libya. But here's what nobody is asking. What happens when you can no longer bomb your way to dollar dominance? When China has enough economic leverage to retaliate? When BRICS controls 40% of global GDP and says no more dollars? When the world realizes the petrodollar is maintained by violence? America just showed its hands. The question is whether the rest of the world folds or calls its bluff, because this invasion is a admission of that the dollar can no longer compete on its own metrics. When you have to bomb countries to keep them from using your currency, the currency is already dying. Venezuela isn't the beginning, it's the desperate end. What do you think?
The petrodollar is actually a device invented by Kissinger and Nixon.
U.S. President Richard Nixon sent his Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger to Saudi Arabia for a secret meeting.
That meeting took place on a battleship called the USS Quincy, and very few records were kept of that meeting. But Roosevelt promised the King of Saudi Arabia weapons and protection in exchange for the United States to have the exclusive right to develop oil from Saudi Arabia using dollars. Meaning, if countries wanted to trade the most important commodity of all, oil, they needed to get their hands on dollars. And from that point on, oil would be priced in USD. And if a country tried to get their hands on oil without using dollars, that country historically needed more freedom in their lives.
So I thought that was a very fascinating. Over 4 million people read that tweet. And I thought it was a very fascinating one indeed there. So what do you guys honestly think? Let me have a look and see what you guys are saying in the chat while I've been reading that. Good morning, Jal. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Hope to see you later on tonight. But is it bad for America if the dollar devalues? Their exports will be cheaper for others to buy. Trump does not understand economics. I think it's more about control. I think it's more about control, impersonator. The one thing you don't want is to not be in control. America controls the world, pretty much the majority of the world, right? But what happens if they don't have that control? Like Russia is very, very weak right now, and they are heavily reliant on China or North Korea, even India, just to keep afloat. The country is really, really bad right now. Like for Russia, the main thing obviously of course is what happened with the war with Ukraine. But I heard Saudi Arabia is talking to China about the BRICS. Reganelite, have you heard of the Crinks? China, Russia, India, North Korea sell oil, fuel each other. I'm not like this. It doesn't. I've not heard of Crinks, Alison, but I wouldn't be surprised. I've not heard of it myself. That's a new one to me, but. I mean, I am aware, obviously, of Russia selling oil to India. But it doesn't surprise me that there's relationships, there's trade between Russia and North Korea and China. Doesn't surprise me one bit. Honestly, doesn't. Dollar lost 9% of its value last year. I do wonder, though. Because here's the thing, like I said, it's an arm and a leg to... It costs an arm and a leg to refine that oil. But I've got one more video before we go into the news, and before we go into the rest of the news, guys, because I think this is a very good here, especially if you want it explained a bit more, another way of it being explained to you, guys. So this video here is about 8 minutes long, but I think it's very, very good. It does a great explanation of about the oil again, but just to try and simplify it a little bit better for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this one.
Want to learn about Venezuela? I'm getting the board. Whoever said teaching wasn't physical. All right, people want to know about what's going on between the United States and Venezuela, but in order to understand what's going on today, you need to understand what has gone on before. That's why history is so important, guys. Come on. Venezuela and the U.S.
Class is in session, guys.
I've decided to do this chronologically because I feel like doing history metaphorically difficult. Number one, pre-1998. Pre-1998, Venezuela had a huge oil supply, actually, biggest in the world, and the biggest stakeholder was a U.S. company called Exxon. Why is this important? Because of their huge oil supply in Venezuela, Exxon took it over. So the vast amount of profit, the percentage of profit, went to the U.S. And Venezuela as a country got next to nothing. And because of this, their economy started to fail. And as their economy started to fail, guess what? A dictator waiting in the wings wanted to jump in and save themselves from God knows who. Oh, from the United States. How do I get steak and oil companies just taking over the entire world? Number two, 1998. That's not right. I hate it when I can't write numbers properly. Hugo Chavez was a democratically elected president of Venezuela. Now, once he got in, again I say democratically, he started to push towards authoritarianism, and he started reducing the checks and balances of the democratic system. Side point, does that remind you of anybody else? He also started to rewrite the Constitution to solidify his dictatorial power. Parallels are really uncanny. 2002, a woman named Maria Machado, ignore how I said that, but keep that name locked in your head because she's going to be important later, created an organization called SUMAT in order to overthrow the Chavez government. Psst, who do you think was funding her operation? You guessed it. George W. Bush, President of the United States at the time, was funding her through the National Endowment of Democracy. You know what? People just make up names to mean anything nowadays. So through this National Endowment for Democracy, the United States funded Machado in order to overthrow Chavez. And when it didn't work, Bush said, "Not my problem, I didn't know anything about it." And she was eliminated from all political life going forward. And then, in 2002, Bush was a very busy guy. Number four, in 2007, Chavez, reinvigorated with power and an authoritarian regime, decides to nationalize Venezuelan oil. Ruh-roh. That meant that Venezuela took all of Exxon's money, all their oil, and all their access to oil, and shifted the lion's share of profits back to Venezuela and left Exxon, well, not a lot of money. P.S. Exxon then sued and won $1.4 billion in a claim. But what kind of international police force are we going to get for Venezuela to be forced to pay Exxon? None. After that huge shift of economic power, Venezuelan oil dropped from 3 million barrels a day way down to 700,000 barrels a day due to corruption and, let's be honest, informal sanctions put on them by the United States because they just stole a bunch of their money from corporations. Stole might be a U.S. word, considering the oil was on Venezuelan land and considered a Venezuelan resource, but who's counting? The U.S. really does imperialism out of 10, don't they? Ooh, new chalk. Number 5, a guy named Madero, used to be the VP of Chavez, takes over, and he starts building an even stronger authoritarian government. I forgot the year. 2013. Obama calls the drug cartel and this particular regime a threat to democracy and national security of the United States. That's then followed by Trump putting on economic sanctions in 2017. Are you with me so far? This is about to get interesting. Interesting, I mean even more corrupt. 2025. I brought you right up to the present. Maria Machado, remember I told you to remember that name, wins the Nobel Peace Prize. And who does she dedicate it to? None other than Donald Trump. And it's at this point that Donald Trump begins attacking boats, Venezuelan boats, calling them drug cartels, talking about revitalizing and restoring democracy to Venezuela, and talking about how they're a threat to national security. And guess what? The U.S. got to go in and save some people. Oh, and P.S. Donald Trump wants his oil back. It's the ending that's really going to get you. The big question about why Donald Trump is doing this is why, and I think the answer is going to surprise you a little bit. Number one, he is going to claim that he is going to liberate Venezuela. Guys, always be careful when the United States of America liberates anything, because usually it means they're going to take it. And he's going to install Maria as the president, formally excommunicated from all political life, but she's going to serve a purpose.
Now I have to pause here for a moment, guys, because that's not what's happened. But I'll let her continue.
Number two, Machado will then give oil rights back to, you guessed it, Exxon. 80% goes to them, 20% back to Venezuela. Everybody's happy and a new power is installed, but that's not the only reason this is happening. This last one's going to blow you away. Number three. Is it about oil? Absolutely. They want control of the world's biggest oil supply, but that's not the full answer. What the real answer is U.S. currency rates. Follow along, this gets tricky. Oil has always been traded in U.S. dollars, called petrol. And what that has served the United States in doing is solidifying, is stabilizing, is increasing U.S. dollars. Because if anybody wants to buy oil anywhere in the world, they have to use U.S. currency. It artificially inflates the price of the U.S. dollar and stabilizes the U.S. economy. This is the real problem. Because what Trump and the United States is really afraid of are BRICS nations. What are they? They are nations, they are countries that have gotten together and are starting to trade without the United States, especially oil, and not use the U.S. currency as their trading denomination. And that is going to possibly submarine the U.S. economy. So is it about oil? Sure, but what really it's about is about the United States being able to control the entire market of trade when it comes to oil, thus inflating and propping up the U.S. economy. So when somebody says, is it about the oil? Say, sure, but that's just a vehicle for them to control everything else.
And that's the end of your class session. But we already knew it was the petrol, the currency anyway. But I think that was really good to reinforce. Now, the reason why I said about the installment of Marina is not happening, and the reason why it's not happening, and from what I've, and I do recommend checking out some of Vosh's videos as one of many places, because she has not been put in. This is the woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize over Donald Trump. So there's a couple of reasons why she's not going to be installed as the puppet, right? So the first reason is actually a petty one, guys. So the source I've heard from multiple sources is Donald Trump is pissed that she pipped him to the Nobel Peace Prize. This is definitely something Donald Trump would be pissed off about, right? Despite the fact that she said, I dedicate this Nobel Prize win to Donald Trump. Because she did that, right? But Donnie's still pissed off about not winning the Nobel Peace Prize. So that's one of the reasons why. The other reason is, of course, the operation itself. So when the operation took place for the US to go in and capture Morado, right? Obviously, you didn't hear, it wasn't... no American soldiers lost their lives. Now, there were Cuban soldiers that lost their lives, but no American soldiers. Why was that, chap? Why was that, chap? Because the Venezuelan administration, the government itself, right? You have Nicolas Maduro at the top, but you also have the military generals and the cabinet and whatnot he has around him, his people around him. They sold out Maduro. That's what happened. They sold him out to the US. That is what happened. And they basically have been put in charge. Right, as of right now, they've been put in charge. The vice president has become the president. I don't remember the person's name, but that's essentially what's happened. So what's this got to do with the woman that talked about installing democracy and all that kind of thing? The woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize. Is it really just because Donald Trump is petty? No, it's because in order for Venezuela to go back to becoming a so-called democracy, right, you would have to eliminate the entire government. They didn't do that. They just took Maduro. They didn't eliminate the rest of the government. The government is still there. So there hasn't been a regime change. They literally just took the president. That's all they took. And the other thing is that because the military, there's a lot of military generals and whatnot, and they all sold out Maduro. Do you honestly think that those generals are just going to allow some so-called democratic woman come in and basically change everything? Change the status quo? No, of course not. They're not going to allow that. They're not going to allow that at all. But they are going to serve America's interests. But America, like it says, they don't care about democracy. They don't care about liberating Venezuela. All they want is their resources and oil. Hence why you're hearing about Greenland possibly being annexed next, being talked about as well. Now, the talk about Cuba is not something America is interested in. There is only one man who is interested in invading and liberating Cuba. Now it's Marco Rubio. And it's simply on the basis that the guy is a Cuban himself. It's nothing. It's because it's a communist state as well. So bear that in mind. Now, obviously, more time and more information is going to come out, but this is the best I can give you with regards to the current situation. I am not happy whatsoever. I am furious that this has happened. I am angry that we have a prime minister who has no fucking spine whatsoever when it comes to this situation. Because it is absolutely spineless from our government. And it's incredibly frightening for me, and it should be frightening for you all, that Macron endorsed what America did. He tweeted endorsing it, which I thought was fucking insane. Keir Starmer kind of like sitting on the fence, which is not helpful at all, because he's terrified of upsetting America. But this also means that we are tied to America one way or another. I wonder how much of that oil... I'm going to assume that the oil that's pumped out of Scottish waters up the north is all pumped out in US dollars as well. I talked in the past about nationalising the oil in the UK. I wonder what would happen to the United Kingdom as a whole if we did that. I wonder how America would react. Makes you think, doesn't it, guys? Very scary indeed. Very scary indeed. So yeah, I will talk more about this. I think I might chat with Van Man, bring it up as a topic to discuss with Van Man Talks on Thursday, because there is other things we want to touch on. But we will definitely touch more on it there. But let me know your thoughts on it all as well down in the comments. I will have a quick read in just a moment. Just a reminder, guys, if you want to support me in any way, please feel free to buy me a coffee or join the Patreon. It really does help as well. Keir Starmer stopped short of outright endorsing it. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah. Okay. Some sort of postage, which you guys are talking about something else. Cuba security men, some ran away, some fought. Yes, Cuba's government, and now, did say that. I think what happened was, allegedly, and I'm stating this allegedly, I think Morado knew what was coming. There was a story that they held some Americans hostages in the run-up to this as well, as a means to try and stop this happening, but it didn't work. And because Morado knew they were coming, he got Cuban security to try and protect him, to get him in his safe house before they came. And because he couldn't trust his own government, because he felt the government were going to hand him over, or allegedly he knew they was going to be handed over. And some fought and some fought and died for him, and some didn't. But had he got into his safe vault, I think he would have been able to hold out. But we will never we're still waiting for all the information, of course. But we'll continue to touch on it as time goes on, guys, because it is a huge story, of course. So, the interim president is offering to collaborate with the US after Trump warns of further strikes. So, Deadly Rodriguez adopts a conciliatory tone as she stands in for Nicolas Morado after Venezuelan leaders captured by American forces and brought to the US. I should point out that Nicolas Morado's wife was also captured as well, just for reference as well. I don't know what the wife has done, but she has as well. European leaders torn in the face of the New World Order after the Venezuelan attack, and this is bad. This is bad for the world order. This is really, really bad for the world order. The other side of this coin, and it's not fake news that I've been reading online. There's actually Venezuelans have been celebrating this. There are some who are like many in the Western media say this is outrageous what Donald Trump do, but there are many Venezuelans who are celebrating this. It's not fake news that Venezuelans are celebrating this, okay? But there are some Venezuelans celebrating this. Because remember, Nicolas Morado was in rigged the elections in his favour. And the country has not been doing well. The country has not been doing well at all. So it's very, very important to stress that as well. So I really do think that. He nearly made it to a safe room and they got him at the door. Yeah, that's my understanding. Yeah, that was my understanding as well. So tense calm spreads at border with Colombia after Maduro's capture. So yeah, obviously, understandably so, Colombia is really at a tense moment right now. Months in planning, over 2.5 hours, how the US snatched Morado. I got a story there. Let's have a look and see what's been happening in the UK, guys, in terms of UK politics. So a minister has been accused of cowardice for declining TV interview challenge, as said to say Trump should not invade Greenland there. Migration Minister Mike Tapp accused of deeply dangerous comments in a Sky interview. What did he say? What did he say? Donald Trump's decision to get rid of Venezuelan president using it military force to renew fears that Greenland is next on the acquisition list. Repeatedly tried to get Mike Tapp, the migration minister, to doing interviews on behalf of the government this morning, to saying that annexing Greenland would be unacceptable, in line with Keir Starmer's thinking on the importance of not upsetting Trump. Tapp talked about careful diplomatic conversations and pointed out the US and Denmark, which has sovereignty over Greenland, are both NATO members. Described himself long like advocate of international law. Important clients of international law, but he said he wanted to get all the material facts when we know what the facts are. I thought Queensberg actually did well with the interview. I haven't watched it all. I've only seen clips of it. Queensberg continued to press on him, pointing out that all the key facts were already available. At this point, Starmer came close to admitting that he did not want to criticise Trump because he was judged not the national interest. Yeah, right. Yeah, this is the thing. He's scared. He's fucking scared. Keir Starmer is scared of upsetting Donald Trump and the US. That's what this is. He's scared. He's absolutely scared. Yeah, he's terrified, guys. He's terrified of what's happening. Venezuela attack could embolden China and Russia, says Embry Forbury. Yep. Taiwan's at great risk now. The risk for Taiwan has increased as a result of it as well. 81 in, 1 out asylum seekers accused of UK of degrading treatment. GMB union in fresh turmoil over claims by senior female leaders. The collapse of zombie UK firms forecast to fuel unemployment in 2026. As the continued rise of artificial intelligence and the more use of that, less people are needed for for a lot of jobs. So people are finding themselves more and more on the dole. UK not entirely clear what it means for the US to run Venezuela. UK plans to seize asylum seekers' phones condemned by campaigners. I'm going to talk on that tonight, guys. That story, I'm going to touch on this phone seizure thing. We're going to talk about that tonight, guys, on The Viewpoint. I think that's a story that's worth talking about on The Viewpoint. UK weather, cold. Look at this. Snow. We get snowing. We can't run the schools. We can't run anything. It's snow. It's too much for us. I hate this so much. Every time there's snow, it's like, we can't run the trains. We can't drive the cars. We can't open the offices. We can't run the schools because once there's snow, guys, we have to panic. Cowards! This is ridiculous. We should all be able to manage snow. We should all be able to manage snow better. I hate that. Hate it a lot, guys. Sorry. It does bother me because we're a country that does get... We are nations that do get snow, and we should be prepared for snow and be able to take appropriate actions for doing so. Aldi reports record Christmas sales after shopping move to cut festive grocery bills. Yeah, Aldi has the cheapest has some of the cheapest prices. Of course people went to Aldi instead of the big supermarket chains. Makes logical sense. Makes logical sense there. There's a snowflake on the track. All trains halted. Yep. Can't go any further, guys. There's a bit of snow there. Can't do that. Absolutely. Ban on TV junk food advertising before 9 p.m. comes into force in the UK. Before 9 p.m. Yeah. I mean, that's good. It's a good start. I mean, not a lot of people watch this TV as much as they used to, but it's good. Watchdog will also monitor online ban for high-fat and sugary products part of wire for tackle online obesity. How are you going to stop it online? You're not. The ban on junk advertisements on TV before 9 p.m. has come into force as the government attempts to tackle child obesity crisis. It's not like... Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy about this, guys. I'm very, very happy about this. I just don't think it's going to make a big difference. I'm very happy about it. It's not going to make a big difference. It's not like banning the. It's not like for me banning the gambling ads during football matches. Like that would be a lot bigger. But don't get me wrong. It's a good thing, and we should be happy about it. But we need to do more. We need to do more. Like how you stop it online, I don't know. And by the way, guys, if you're worried about Dolly, Dolly is literally behind the green screen. She's literally behind this green screen. She's right at the bottom. She's sleeping under all the washing today, in case you're wondering. She's been hiding there for days because of the kids running around in the house. And Dolly does not like kids. Did not like it at all. It's a very, very shy cat. And I can't pick her up, guys, because she'll scratch my She'll scratch me. So I'm sorry I can't show you Dolly, guys. So Morado is to appear in US court as Trump threatens more strikes in Venezuela. So apparently he's going to be today. Today he's going to be appearing in court. Apparently, is what I've heard. So this is from Al Jazeera, just for reference here. Israel extends Gaza's occupation beyond the yellow line in the north and bombs the south. What are we doing about this? Of course, nothing. Venezuelans will reflect on Morado's removal, grappling with hope and fear. Yeah, so there are Venezuelans who are celebrating this, and there are others who are concerned about this as well. Trump's oil not allegedly junk trafficking caught Trump's eye. Who is Venezuela's Vice President, Derry Rodriguez, now leading the country? Well, they obviously compromised with the US government. That's obviously what happened. Trump threatens Colombia president, says Cuba is ready to fall. Trump's abduction Morado escalates concerns over potential war with Iran as well. Yeah, so this also puts Iran in the crosshairs. We know that Israel would like nothing more to see Iran capitulate as well. We know they would like nothing more to see them capitulate. Syria's new currency removes al-Assad's family image and seeks to boost the economy. Trump's bid to commandeer Venezuela's oil sector faces hurdles, experts say. So is that the second Premier League manager sacked this year? I know Chelsea sacked their manager. Looks like Man United have sacked theirs. Oh, it's going well, very, very swimmingly in 2026 for the Premier League. Venezuela's interim leader tones down the criticism, ready to work with the US. Yeah, basically she's told, you work with us or you're basically, allegedly. That's what they're doing. That's basically what it is, guys. There's obviously been the story of Yemen as well. The Yemeni crisis, more complexity, more repercussions. I'm gonna try and cover this a bit more. I still haven't got to grips with this story, but I'll cover it on Rumble to the best of my knowledge with you guys as well there. Let's go to the Independent here and see what they're saying here. Let me just switch out here for you guys because this is really important stuff. Officers get powers to seize phones. Yep, we're going to touch on that tonight. Starmer vows to remain a Labour leader in the cost of living pitch to voters. I'm not buying it whatsoever. He's not doing enough. He's not doing it enough there. PM faces Labour revolt over refusal to denounce Trump over Venezuela. Yep, that's good. That's a good sign as well. It's good that he's getting pressured by that as well. Andy Burnham is Labour's best hope of keeping Farage out at number 10. If Andy Burnham was the Prime Minister, would I vote for him, depending on his policies, over the Greens? No, I wouldn't. I just don't trust Labour. Starmer signalled plans to unpick Brexit harm a decade on from the EU vote. Well, the best way to do that is to rejoin the single market and customs union. But we know he can't do that because the next, whether it's Reform or Conservative government, come back in, because someone on the right is coming back in at some point. They're just going to undo it. We know that. It's just going to happen, guys. I know it sucks, but it's just going to happen. IF Typhoon strike ISIS weapons storage site in Syria. Yeah, so this is a story that hasn't been made. I don't know how many of you guys have heard about this story here. So IF Typhoon strike ISIS weapons storage site in Syria in a joint mission with France. Strike was on an underground facility in Syria, which has been occupied by ISIS. So I'm generally curious to know if the current Syrian regime was aware of this plan or not, but it's definitely curiosity here. So let me share this with you. So IF Typhoon joined French aircraft in a joint strike on Saturday evening in an underground facility in Syria where it had been occupied by ISIS, most likely to store weapons and explosives, the Ministry of Defense has said. Guided bombs were used to target a number of access tunnels down in the site, located in the mountains north of the ancient city of Pamir in the centre of the country on Saturday evening. It was identified through intelligence analysis of former ISIS weapons and explosive storage device. The facility has been most likely used to store weapons and explosives in the surrounding area and is devolved to civilians, the Ministry of Defense said. Now, let me just say this, right? I thought surely the best action is, rather than blowing it up, was to give the Syrian government, the new regime, everything it needs to get those weapons and let them be in charge of it rather than this ISIS. But instead, we've just blown up their weapons storages and explosives rather than try and seize the weapons and that for the current regime. Why did we not do that instead of just blowing it up? That's a question that I don't understand. So the strike was part of a continuing effort to prevent the terrorist group resurgence. The Royal Air Force has maintained regular patrols over the country since the military defeat of ISIS at Bashishfarski in March 2019. The Defence Secretary said the action shows the UK standing shoulder to shoulder with our allies. What's the government's response? What's the government's response? Doesn't have a government response. I need to find out what the government's response to it. And it doesn't say what the current regime's response to it all is. It wasn't very good a piece there because it wasn't saying. UK urged to enforce Australian-style social media ban for teenagers. It's too early to do that. We need to see the effects of it in Australia before we go that far. It's too early to do that here yet. We need to see. We need time to see how it goes in there before we talk about it here. Man who drowned trying to save 2 people from the sea, named by family. My heartfelt condolences. Really, absolutely terrible. Mother and daughter washed away in deadly sea incident named. It's terrible. It's terrible. Absolutely horrible incident. Inside the quest for the origin of Stonehenge. Looks like parcel came through the front door. Any other stories here? Driver issue car breakdown warning ahead of Manic Monday. Cold weather payments triggered in over 400 postcodes there. There's some of those stories there. Like I said, we're going to be extending today just because I was covering a lot of Venezuela today, guys. So just in case you're wondering why we're going a bit longer than usual today. Let's have a look at the Associated Press, see what they're saying here. After Morado, what's next? Trump spurs speculation about his plans for Greenland, Cuba, and Colombia. Like, it really is a nail in the coffin for NATO if Trump annexes Greenland, because if they have heed to international law, if NATO still matters, Europe must go to war with America if they annex Greenland. So will they? It's very scary and very, very scary, guys. Yeah, see, this is what it says here today, apparently. Yeah, he's set to make his first appearance in a US courtroom on drug trafficking charges, yeah. Yeah, today in American courtroom, narco and terrorist charges Trump administration used to justify his campaign. Although his wife expected to appear at noon before a judge for a brief, but required legal proceedings will likely kick off a prolonged legal fight or whether he can appear on trial in the US. It's absolutely outrageous. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm not happy the guy maintained power, but it's absolutely insane. There you can see there some people who are also against it there. US catcher Morado divides a changed region, thrilling Trump allies and threatening his foes. US intervention in Venezuela could tempt Trump's ability to hold the GOP together in an election year. This will also galvanize Marjorie Taylor Greene and will also get more people on her side. Like, she's vying for that presidential spot, the next Republican president, and she can galvanize them and say, look, he promised no wars, and what did he do? He went and invaded another country. The MAGA supporters will split. Some of them will turn to Marjorie Taylor Greene and back her for the presidency over it. They will get behind her. Ukraine didn't target Putin residents as a drone strike in Kremlin trains, Trump says. Yeah. Oh, so Trump got told that they didn't get targeted. Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. So Ukraine said we did not target his residents. And so Putin says they tried to take me out. And he said, that's not very good. Then Ukraine said, no, we didn't try to do that. Oh, they weren't trying to take him out. God, Donald is so stupid. He's so stupid. It's insane. Absolutely retarded. Iran's been shaken by a series of protests over the past 50 years. Yeah, Iran is not very good right now in terms of protests right now. We touched on it on Friday, I think it was. Yeah, it's not very good right now. Not very good at all, guys. Not good at all. Right, cover a couple more stories here. I did say we were going to go over today because I did want to cover some other stories here. US actions in Venezuela are not legal, senior Labour MP says. Yeah, of course it is not legal. Everyone knows that. It's illegal what they do. Yeah, it's basically breaching international law, just like what Israel have been doing, just like what Russia have done. Starmer won't be drawn on whether US strikes broke Venezuela's international law. Yeah, this is the lawyer expert here says he won't be drawn on whether the US strikes in Venezuela broke international law, guys. He just won't be drawn on it, guys. MPs abused by Charles lose 10 stone after taking Montegago. Don't know what the story's about, apart from, like, unfortunately MPs do get abuse from Charles all the time. But honestly, like, losing 10 stone, fantastic. I just hope, as long as they're healthy and happy, that's the most important thing. There, not a lot of politics news there. Some of it's still very, very old. Only Greenland must decide its future, Starmer says. Well, apparently Venezuela doesn't get to decide its future either, does it? You know? Like, don't get me wrong, like, we know the election was rigged, but, you know, there's a line as well. So, please don't use the R word. Or which R word, sorry. Which R word were you referring to, Matty, sorry. Teenage girl educated in the UK confirmed to have died in the Swiss fire. Yeah, that we covered that last week. That terrible fire. Yeah, all the apparently all the victims have been named now. There. Man admits stressing as fake naval aberration and remembrance event. Ah, yeah. So he finally been caught out. That guy finally been caught out there. Any other stories there? No worries, Witchy Goth. I don't know what R word you're referring to there. So you have to tell me in the chat there. So what's wrong with that word, Matty? I don't even think I even said that word. If you think I'm not referring it to disabled people, if that's what you thought, there. I wasn't referring to anybody with disabilities or anything like that of the sort. If that's what you're implying, because it's not. That wasn't my. I wasn't implying that in any way, shape, or form. There. Anyways, let me move on. Kiev Independent here. Drone strike in hospital. Kiev kills 1 and injures 4 there. We don't believe that's happened. Trump dismisses Putin's claims of Ukrainian attack on his residents. The US attack on Venezuela. Yep, we talked about that. Russia missile parts factory in flames after Ukrainian drone attack, and media was reporting there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that word anyway. If I'm honest, but yeah, I'm not implying towards anybody in particular. Ukraine prepared to continue fighting if diplomacy with Russia fails, Zelensky says. Missile attack on Kharkiv killed 6 people, including a 3-year-old child, at least 31. That was the story that happened yesterday. A 3-year-old child's been killed in Ukraine. Zelensky dismisses Dukio's head of state border guard, names first in chief, so change in the top there. Ukraine denies Russia's claim of capturing a town with Moscow's maintaining control of key positions. Serbia's Russian-owned oil refinery to resume operations in mid-January. NIS, one of the few remaining Russian energy assets operating in Europe, was sanctioned by Washington last January as part of the broader efforts to restrict Russian energy exports. Soldier injured in car explosion classified as terror attack in Kiev. The blast occurred as the soldier was opening the truck of his car, the Kiev city prosecutor had said. Ukraine slaps sanctions on companies supplying Russian military industry. Yep, makes sense. Global Sports reopened doors to Russia and Ukraine this week. Yeah, I know. That's that. Yeah, I don't recall saying it. I honestly don't recall saying it. But I can understand. I understand where Matty's coming from. I understand where Matty's coming from with the word. I understand where it's coming from, but I don't recall saying it personally. But Matty claims it is. It's used describing something negatively as a result implies something negative wrong with disability. Just describing it something as gay implies gay is wrong. Yeah, I never implied the word gay on people anyway just because of that. But I don't recall using the word anyway. Yeah, because negative wrong with disability. Well, I'll try and avoid using it, Matty. I don't recall saying it, but you claiming I did, but I don't recall saying it personally. But it's fine. I'll try and avoid using that word. Okay. I didn't mean any offence if I did. Okay, because that's not who I am. Let's have a look at the times here. because we've had people in the past make up accusations about me in the past, and they've been kicked to the curb in our chat because they make false statements about me. Chagos Island deals risks security and marine protection, insiders have said there. PM Hetsy's beds as Trump's international gamble tests allies. We were spared a factory floor pep talk been preferable. What's that all about? That's a political sketch there. Police draw up false evidence after decision to ban Israeli fans. Why are we still talking about it? We need to stop talking about it. Just stop talking about that story. No, you don't need. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, Mutty. I know your heart's in the right place anyway. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it's all good. We have a spare factory floor pep talk, but might have been preferable. Council under fire for ripping up Victorian lampposts. Why would they do that? Chagos Island deal risk security and marine protection, insiders have said. Czech trade boss shows boss that government's not supporting UK businesses there, they're implying. This is the Times, take it with a pinch of salt. This is the average net approval of party leaders they've got here. So it said Polanski -5, Davey -9, Baganot -14. Farage has dipped a little bit to -17. Farage still continued. Starmer declining at -51 there. So entrepreneur gives hope to give you Britain or Europe for lab-grown sausages. I've not tried a lab-grown sausage, but I have no problem. I've never tried a lab-grown sausage, but I have no problem with it if it means, less reduction of meat. I mean, I think there's people who have said they've tried sausages that, obviously there's vegan sausages, but people have tried sausages that have been made in a lab and they taste the same as a normal meat, and it's just like what's the difference? As long as it tastes the same and it doesn't upset your stomach or whatnot, what's the difference? I think it's an option, but the problem is that this lab-grown sausages is a bit more expensive. But the other thing is about it as well is that I don't know what the costs are like here to do lab-grown sausages or lab-grown meat. But when you think about it, the repercussions, of course, it'll hurt farmers, British farmers as well. That's the counter side to it. So, yeah, there's that problem to it as well. How do you protect the farmers that are producing, that have the pigs and whatnot? Yeah, from that point of view there. So I think that's a fair argument making as well with regards to it. Let's have a look at NBC News here. US says, Trump says US is in charge of Venezuelan wars of interim leaders cooperate. How the US captured Morado. Allies and foes fear more US intervention. Marco Rubio says he believes Cuba is in a lot of trouble. Yeah, Marco Rubio wants Cuba. He wants Cuba gone. He wants Cuba. This is something that Marco Rubio wants, not what America wants, not what the Trump administration wants. It's something Marco Rubio wants. Whether he'll get it or not is another thing. Oil prices swing after attack on Venezuela there. 10 people convicted for online harassment of France's First Lady, Brigitte Macron. Congress returns to a shutdown deadline and a healthcare fight. Lawmakers will confront a growing list of task political agenda items in the late 2026, including a key vote on the Obamacare subsidies. Yep. Healthcare for Americans has gone through the roof this year, so Happy New Year to them. Remember, they want to implement that kind of healthcare style in the UK as well. North Korea says latest missile tests involves hypersonic weapons systems. Teens as younger as 14 among victims in the Swiss Alps fires. 14. Brother went from business partner to murder suspect accused of killing 4 and torching 2 houses. Jesus. It's an absolute horrible story. Avatar Fire and Ash, number 1, apparently. It's number 1 film. Crosses $1 billion. Crosses $1 billion. Yeah, I need to go and see that film. I might try and see it this week. I might do it the weekend, actually, to be fair. There's some interesting stories there. We'll have a look at one last. I'll have a look at one last lot, and then we'll head out, guys. Here, I did say I was going to go a bit over today, anyway. So, the iPaper here. Venezuela new leaders to be sworn in as China around call for Morado's release. Yeah, this is a subject we're not going to stop talking about. Yeah, it's in cinema. Yeah, third Avatar. How student housed empty offices and homes could be converted for asylum seekers. Danger point that could make 2026 a difficult year for Starmer. Will reversing Brexit make you richer, the experts predict. Starmer plotting even softer Brexit as leadership rivals circles. Bagnot boosted, Generic retreats. Does anybody care about the Tories? Well, the polling numbers say differently. I think there is a resurgence. There's a bit of a resurgence in the Conservatives. We touched on it last year. There will be a bit of a resurgence. I might even touch more on it tonight. When will government end asylum hotels and how many have been closed and explain that there? Inside the left wing plot to stop Farage entering number 10. Yeah, we're gonna try. We're gonna try and stop him. Whether we will or not, that's another thing. How student halls, empty offices and homes could be converted for asylum seekers. It's not fixing the problem, it's just moving the problem. It's not helpful. Any other stories that we haven't seen here? Chickenpox vaccinated offered to children for free from today. How the scheme will work? Yeah, apparently chickenpox vaccine being offered to children for free from today. Yeah, get your children vaxxed. Just better be safe than sorry. How quitting alcohol affects your sleep? A day, a month, and a week there. Dry January. Yummy drone forces surging thanks to Ukrainian troops trained in the UK. Trump's empire building leaves the UK looking weaker than ever. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. And teachers backs 2 child benefit cap as poor pupils struggle to learn there as well. There. Okay, guys, we got about, I said I was going to go a bit over about 15 minutes. I think it's long enough here. Let me just have a quick look to see if anybody else has sent me anything this morning. Nope, just Alistair there, Viper Scott, with some support today. First support, first buy me coffees of the new year. Thank you again, my friend. I appreciate that. There. Let me just check this. Oh, it's just that notification. Okay, that's fine. Okay, guys, quick reminder before I go. I'll be going live tonight at 8 o'clock for The Viewpoint. We're covering the UK news there. So join me for that if you can. I plan to do a Discord after chat as well. I've also, video has dropped today at 12 o'clock on Patreon and Rumble. They were videos I recorded on Friday. I'm going to record for the rest of the week. For Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or for Rumble and Patreon today. I'm going to record videos for them there that I will drop there as well. As for live streams this week, there'll be Good Morning Show. I'll be back again every Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. for a Good Morning Show. As for Wednesday, I'll not only be doing the Good Morning Show, but I'll also be covering Prime Minister's questions. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock will be global news. We'll be covering news from outside the UK, so I'll be touching more on the Venezuela incident, of course. On Wednesday, we'll be finally having back the watch along, so I'll be watching, reacting to certain clips and things online on social media there. So that'll be a fascinating live stream. It's been a while since we've done one of those live streams, so we'll definitely be doing that as well. Thursday, myself and Van Man Talks at 8 o'clock, guys. Thursday night, if you can join us for that, feel free to do so. Myself and Van Man Talks. I'm very looking forward to that. Will be plenty to discuss there as well. And on Friday, we not only got the Good Morning Show at 11, but also at 3 o'clock, myself and Witchy Golf with a mental health live stream at 3 o'clock there. Do join us for that there as well. So lots happening this week, guys. Thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Appreciate you guys all coming out as in numbers that you have. I really do appreciate it. And like I say, if you guys can financially support me, best way to do so is buy me a coffee or join Patreon. If you can't at the moment, the other way you can support me, guys, is just by hitting the like button, sharing across social media, subscribing, hitting the bell notification icons to be notified when I go live, leaving comments on videos and whatnot. We all greatly appreciate it. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.